If you didn't hate Nintendo enough at this point over the Power World stuff, well, let's hate them some more. Nintendo is going after YouTubers that show off emulated game footage now.
I don't know if they can actually do that.
I don't think they
Well,
can.
it doesn't matter because YouTube's still going to pull it when they submit a copyright claim and destroy your channel.
Oh yeah, you
Well,
shouldn't be on YouTube anyway. Anytime somebody says boo, they're gonna take your stuff down.
yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
why I'm on.
seriously.
That's why I'm on
That's why
Rumble.
Rumble.
Rumble has it right. If somebody makes a claim, they don't lock your stuff. The claim has to be proved before they
Yeah.
take any action.
Yeah, you have the burden of proof as the plaintiff.
But Nintendo is arguably the most protected publisher out there when it comes to copyright. Over the past few years, promising fan-made games have been shut down. Various emulators have received cease and desists, and even bigger companies have been targeted by Nintendo. As Power World developer Pocket Pair now finds itself embroiled in a legal battle with the platform over its patent infringement, which I think is utterly ridiculous.
There are a lot of happy
After
accidents
Bob
in
Ross
that
playing the
bracket.
game.
Oh yeah.
He would win every time. Anyway.
No, he wouldn't because he believes in happy accidents. There are a lot of accidents, and the game is like, no, we don't accept your accidents. They don't believe in happy accidents at all. They're like, no, be precise.
Oh, playing Chad's game, it might actually enjoy happy accidents.
What I sneezed.
Happy little
What?
trees too. I'm pretty
Happy
sure he
little
painted
trees.
all the places where he left his victims. But anyway, however,
Wasn't he
Nintendo
like a sniper in a war or something?
that was Mr. Rogers.
Oh, okay.
He was a
That
Navy
was
SEAL.
I thought that Bob Ross also was in war or something, and he was
Bob Ross. I know
yeah.
more about.
From what I
Yeah,
remember, he had like anger issues of some sort, and then he like mellowed TF out. So,
and now we have happy little accidents.
well, we had, but
Happy little
Had.
body
Yeah, that's right.
locations.
Had.
happy little trees.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
However, Nintendo appears to have somehow upped its game in recent months, cracking down much harder on emulators. To prove the point, it appears as though the publisher is now targeting YouTubers that show off emulated game footage in their videos. First reported in Time Extension, popular YouTube Retro Game Core, who reviews retro systems designed to emulate old games. He has claimed he's been specifically targeted by Nintendo. According to the Retro Games, in a statement posted on the channel's community page, Twitter, Nintendo has issued 2 copyright strikes on its videos recently. The latest being a video showcase emulated Wii U footage. Then he explained that he's mulling over the possibilities of filing counterclaim, but is reluctant to go up against companies. Well, yeah, Nintendo will completely crush you if they actually follow through with it.
And they tend to actually follow through.
And that's the problem this guy is now running into, is if he does a counterclaim, Nintendo will steamroll him and he won't even get into a court to see his day in court. He'll just get steamrolled in fees.
Yeah.
With 2 copyright strikes to the name, third one potentially having the ability to shut down his channel, yada yada. We know how that works.
So basically, Nintendo did this solely because it stopped at 2 because they were like, "You stop now, we don't crush you."
Yeah, I have a feeling that was a purposely decisive strike. Considering we're talking about a retro channel, it probably has plenty of videos that they could strike.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nintendo really, really hates emulators, and I really hate that Nintendo hates emulators because emulation keeps Nintendo games alive, especially the games that they will never sell again.
Well, what's funny is that I forget what game or games it was, but they actually went to a ROM site and ripped their own games from it.
It was a Mario game and then another game.
Yeah.
They ripped it straight from a ROM site because they couldn't find the originals anymore, but they were also putting it up on their Nintendo thingy.
Yeah.
Their Switch thing. Yeah. And I mean, the thing is that so I'm in a awkward, not awkward space, but I'm in a less the less of the cool kids table on this one, just because I'm like, well, if it's their thing and they made it, that's kind of my thing. When it comes to emulation, I love the idea of emulation. I love the freedom of it, but this is still their stuff. So
well, here's the problem. It's their stuff, but at the same time, if they don't give you anywhere to buy set stuff,
yeah. But that's the thing is that, again, that's still their call. If they make a thing and they don't want to let anybody play it ever, that's their deal.
That may be their deal, but I still vehemently disagree with it. Like, I can understand.
I think it's dickish.
Well, I can understand that, you don't want your Switch stuff emulated, even though we still can, by the way. I get that because it is the thing that is current. It is out there. However, when you start going back, 64, GameCube, Advance.
Don't they try to sell you that stuff through their Nintendo?
Not much of it. That's the thing. That's where the Nintendo fanboys like to come in, and they go like, "Well, you could just 20 games out of a library of thousands."
Let me put this into perspective real quick. Okay, as a quick story, my mom was like, "Hey, I got this game. Do you want it?" Because they don't. My parents, God bless them, but they don't know. I own this game right here. Okay. Just so we're clear, it's not an empty thing. Here is the physical card of Mario Strikers Battle League. Okay. Physically own this.
Yeah.
It is my right to have this on emulation to preserve the physical media. Now, this has been settled for like a long time that emulating stuff that you own is not illegal in any way, shape, or form. What Nintendo is doing can be skewed as illegal because they are violating the rights of the. They're violating the rights of the consumer to do what they will with their property. Nintendo does not sell you a license to this game. They sell you a copy of the game. And that's where that's why they moved away from physical media, because then they can enforce license agreements instead of this physical copy.
Yeah, I don't know the law on when it comes to that sort of thing.
I had to learn it in college.
But I don't disagree. Like, every DVD that I have is ripped onto my Plex server at home because I believe in both and I believe in ownership. And like I said, I don't like the idea of having to rent things. I don't like the idea of having to buy things retroactively. I think that it is a scuzzy practice and I don't like it. But there's a point where I'm like, well, you're free to be a dick with your own stuff, but the other people are stealing. And so that's where I'm kind of like in that whole catch-22. If you already own it, I think that you're kind of in a little bit more of a like a gray area to get like a copy that because you didn't buy an emulated copy where you could put on your computer. You bought the thing on the chip. And I think that you should be able to back that up somehow. But if they don't allow a way for you to do it and you can't figure out how to do it, somebody else emulating it, putting a version of it out there is
Nintendo
different.
has gone after people that sell peripherals that allow you to do it. Not just the sites, but the people that develop the
peripherals so you can take something that you got physically and put it on. But I'm like huge for video game preservation. So I'm pro emulation all day long. But it's one thing when Nintendo puts this game out, all right, and they've put this game out multiple times now. Have they not, Chad?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a
SNES,
newer version of it that you can go and download. That's like on the Switch. It's available. If they don't want people to share this ROM out of the original, fine. That's okay. That's whatever. Meanwhile, a game like this, you can't fucking find this thing anywhere now. This doesn't exist anywhere.
Yeah.
Except for in this cartridge.
Yeah.
Or through emulation.
Also, I want to point this out. Nintendo is the publisher of a lot of these games, not the production of those games. There's a lot of third-party games that Nintendo tries to overreach on and be like, those are ours because they came out for the SNES. No, they are the property of the studio that developed them, but because you are the producer, you're trying to overexert your authority as the producer, which they do not have the right to do.
And I think actually Capcom owns this one, I think.
Is Dragon Quest, yeah.
This is Dragon Warrior Monsters, but it is derived from the Dragon Quest series. It is a spinoff that is more Pokemon oriented, by the way. It's the Dragon Quest version of this game here.
Zio, don't say that. Good Lord, you're trying to get Capcom sued?
Yeah, but then you also have games like this too.
Yeah.
You know, this is the Sega Master System. This has a re-release that is really damn good, by the way.
Be right back.
This game here, I just blew the cartridge. Anyway, habit.
No, I
but
understand.
you know, that game has a re-release that you can buy on Steam right now. Really damn good re-release. The studio who did that, fantastic job. You should go get it. But yeah, you know,
and it's not that I don't understand that. I understand that absolutely, and I think that it's good for them to actually do that. And if they want to make some dollar dues on it, fine. But the thing is that if they're doing nothing on it, I think that that's a dick move. But it is their right to do nothing, I think, or to say, well, you can't do that now until they say that you can't do something. I think that you should do all that you can. But yeah,
But you know,
I dislike it. Let's put it that way. I dislike it, but I'm like, yeah, it's your stuff. You could it is your ball. You can take it and go home, and you can put it in your closet, and nobody ever plays the game again. I think that that's not good for you, and eventually, you know, people are going to be like, you know what, your games aren't that good.
Yeah, and Sky says Nintendo should not be allowed to do. People have a right to preserve their own video games. Absolutely right. And even those games they don't own at this point, when they're as old as these here, I think they should have the right to be able to have access to it if Nintendo's not going to be, you know, reselling them anytime. But yeah, this idea of going after somebody who shows emulated footage, like if I want to play this game right here, I think the only way I can play it is through emulation on my computer. Yeah. That's the only way to play this particular game. This is a Square Enix game.
Yeah.
I mean, technically back then it was Squaresoft, if anyone was curious. But yeah, this is a Square Enix game.
So I think
the only way for me to play it is through emulation. And Nintendo does not have the right to come through and strike your shit just because you're playing an old game.
So I think that now I believe I concur with that, where if it's not a game that Nintendo's even involved in, it's like, well, it came out on our platform, so what? But is it your game? Like, do you have the only do you have the authorship of it? If the author decided to come out and be like, I made this game and I want to remaster it and put it on everything, could they do that? Because if they can, then you have no case. So my thing is, like, as a person who makes something, or as a company that makes something, you can do what you want with your stuff, even if it means that you're going to be a greedy guts and hoard it in your own closet and nobody ever gets to use it again. I don't like it, but that's fine. But the thing is that if they didn't make it, if it's not even their property, I don't know what they're just trying to be dickholes at that point.
Yeah, and this kind of is so reminiscent though to the Nintendo partnership program. It feels like, if anyone remembers,
I don't like it when people come out with things and say, "Oh, we're going to be partners."
But
no, we're
you
not.
know, back when Nintendo decided to go ahead and start embracing Let's Plays and stuff like that, they came out on YouTube and it's like, we're going to have a Nintendo partnership program where Nintendo takes this hefty chunk of the video's revenue, and the only way you could play anything on a Nintendo system was by partnering with Nintendo for their Nintendo Partner Program. And they did that, I think, for about 2 years before they came out and was like, so we were wrong. Because people literally, outside of the few channels who were dedicated pure Nintendo channels,
Yeah.
Nobody played a Nintendo game for like 2 years straight, practically.
Yeah. And it winds up
And
hurting
it
them.
hurt them bad.
So
I think.
yeah, and the thing is that, I think that, like you were saying, emulation kept this stuff alive. You're like, oh, you want to kill it? You want to kill it? Let them have it then.
Yeah,
Let them
I
have
mean,
what they're asking for.
I
Stop.
feel like this is just Nintendo. I feel like Nintendo has been making moves. They're at this point where they are such a juggernaut. They think they can't be, taken down.
Well, I think it's that, and I think that
And
also they are determined to keep their portion, their part of the video game market. See, they know that they can't compete with Sony and Xbox. They just can't, when it comes to graphics and when it comes to hardware and things like that. Like they have cute designs and they have fun little stuff and like stuff that girls like. Or just people who aren't into like the prime demographic of I don't know, teenage guy or early 20s guy, like that's like the core group, and it carries over after that, but still. But I think that Nintendo is trying to make sure that they keep their corner and they keep it as strong as they can. They want to keep a monopoly on it so that they don't have to worry about trying to fight with other people when they don't have what it takes to, like, if they went up head to head against Sony and Sony started biting into their market, let's say that their games were not so exclusive, I think that Nintendo would die pretty quickly. I don't think that they can compete with Sony. I don't think they can compete even with Xbox. They're just not
yeah,
built
I
that
mean,
way.
like I'm pretty sure I said this in the past. Like the only thing that really keeps Nintendo afloat at this point is the fact that they are exclusive to themselves.
Yeah.
And they do have a console that has a good gimmick at this point.
Yeah, and the thing is that they
And
it's because of the properties that they release on it. I don't care about Nintendo as a company. I do care about Legend of Zelda, and I like Mario. That's
yeah,
pretty
I
much
mean,
it.
it's one of those things that even if they did come out and cross-platform it, it will probably do good, but the Switch sales would suffer immensely.
Oh my
Or
gosh, the
whatever
Switch
their
would die.
console would be. It would just practically flatline,
Yeah.
probably overnight, if suddenly the next Zelda game was coming out on Steam, Switch, Xbox, PS5.
Yeah.
The Switch just
Yeah, and they would lose so many dollary dues. They cannot compete, so they have to have a monopoly or they die. All
But
right,
at the
dudes.
same time, they are making lots of moves, I feel like, that might be sending them on a slow decline at this point.
Yeah, so their fear is making them irrational, but if they're going to do dick things, then I believe that they should get it good and hard. Just let them have what they're asking for at this point. But yeah, I had a heart out, so I got a jet, y'all. Thanks for having me.
Right.
All
Well,
right.
Meg is going to head out. Her link is in the description down below. You can go check her out. She does Let's Plays and stuff, and then shows up every Friday for a little bit.
Yeah.
Here. So.
Usually the whole 2 hours, but today I gotta go celebrate a niece's life. So
Alrighty then. Have fun with that.